A perfectly black body is that which absorbs completely the radiation of all wavelength incident on it. As a perfectly black body neither reflects nor transmits any radiation, therefore absorbance or the absorbing power of a perfectly black body is unity. We know that the color of an opaque body is the color, that is the wavelength of radiation reflected by it. As a black body reflects no wavelength, it appears black. Whatever be the color of the radiations incident on it, when a perfectly black body is heated to a suitable high temperature, it emits radiation of all possible wavelength. The radiation given out by a perfectly black body are called black body radiation or full radiation or total radiation. A perfectly black body cannot be realized in practice. Here you can see in this figure a fairy designed a perfectly black body which is most commonly used. It consists of a hollow double walled metallic sphere. You can see here hollow double walled metallic sphere having a narrow opening O. This is the opening, you can see O on one side and a conical projection here just opposite. You will see that this is the conical projection here, that is just opposite to the hole. You can see, okay. So one side and a conical projection P inside just opposite it as indicated here in the figure. The inside of the sphere is coated with a lamp black. Any radiation entering the sphere through the opening O, this is the radiation, you can see that enter here and it incident on the conical projection, then reflected to this wall, then again reflected here, then reflected here, multiple reflections take place, you can see that, okay. So any radiation means because of this multiple radiation it absorb all the color, that is all the wavelength. Any radiation entering the sphere through the opening O suffers multiple reflection at its inner wall, and about 97% of it is absorbed by the lamp black at each reflection, and therefore after a few reflections almost entire radiation is absorbed. The projection help in avoiding any direct reflection which even otherwise is hardly possible because of the small size of the opening O. When this body is uh, placed in a bath at fixed temperature, the heat radiation come out of the hole. The opening thus act as a black body radiator, and it should be remembered that only the opening and not the walls acts as a black body. Kirchhoff law. According to Kirchhoff law, the ratio of emissive power to absorptive power corresponding to a particular wavelength and at any given temperature is always a constant for all bodies. This constant is equal to emissive power of a perfectly black body at the same temperature and corresponding to the same wavelength. Thus, if E lambda is the emissive power of body corresponding to wavelength lambda at any given temperature, and A lambda is the absorbing power of that body corresponding to same wavelength at the same temperature. This is E, this is E, capital E, you can see that E lambda, this is emissive power of a perfectly black body corresponding to same wavelength at the same temperature. Then according to Kirchhoff law, this E lambda upon A lambda, that is emissive power, you can say the this is equal to constant. So E lambda is equal to constant here. And as we can see, this for the E lambda and A lambda both are equal. It means if a body absorbs completely the radiation of particular wavelength lambda out of radiation of all wavelengths falling on it from a source at higher temperature, it would emit the radiation of same wavelength lambda then left free. Or otherwise for the black body, you can see that E lambda is equal to A lambda. It means that this is equal to 1, this E lambda is equal to 1, okay, as the emissive power is unity for the black body. Stephen's law. From the experimental study of the rate of emission of radiation from a hot body, Stephen gave a law in 1879 which came to be known as Stephen's law. Boltzmann gave a theoretical proof of this law on the basis of the thermodynamic, and this law is therefore also called the Stephen-Boltzmann law. According to this law, the amount of heat energy, that is E, emitted per second by unit area of perfectly black body is directly proportional to the fourth power of absolute temperature, capital T, of the body. That means mathematically we can write it, that is E is directly proportional to T to the power 4, or E is equal to sigma T to the power 4. Here sigma is a constant of proportionality and is called Stephen's constant. Its value is 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 watt per meter, and K to the power, K2 means Kelvin, per Kelvin to the power 4, you can say. Okay, so this law is also known as Stephen's fourth power law. Obviously, when T becomes twice, E becomes 16 times. If a perfectly black body at a temperature T is surrounded by a black body enclosure at a temperature T0, then amount of thermal energy emitted per area per time by the black body is even equal to sigma T to the power 4, as state here that in the Stephen's law. Amount of thermal energy gained per area per time by the black body, that must be equal to radiation emitted per area per time by the black body enclosure. So E2 is equal to sigma T to the T0 to the power 4. Here we can see that the T is, this temperature T is more than T0 and E1 is more than E2. So net loss of thermal energy per area per time by the black body is given by E is equal to E1 minus E2, that means sigma T to the power 4 minus sigma T0 to the power 4. Sigma, if we'll take common here, then it will come E is equal to sigma T to the power 4 minus T0 to the power 4. So for bodies which are not perfectly black, Stephen's law may be put as E is equal to epsilon sigma T to the power 4, where this epsilon is the emissivity or relative emittance of the body, and T, capital T, is the temperature of the body. Note that the value of relative emittance depends on the nature of the surface, and it has value between 0 to 1. Epsilon has no units and no dimension if the body at temperature T is surrounded by a body at temperature T0. Then Stephen's law may be put as E is equal to epsilon sigma in the bracket T to the power 4 minus T0 to the power 4. Here epsilon is taken as emissivity of both the body and the enclosure. Net loss of thermal energy per second from the entire surface of the body of area A is given here. E, that is capital E, is equal to epsilon sigma to the power sigma T to the power 4 minus T0 to the power 4. Now, distribution of energy in the spectrum of black body. In 1899, Limmer and Prinshems experimentally studied the distribution of energy in the spectrum of black body radiation at different temperature. As already we have seen that an electrically heated enclosure with a hole served as a source of black body radiation. The temperature was measured by means of a thermocouple. The radiations was passed through a slit S. You can see here the black body radiation is passed through a slit S and made incident on a concave reflector C1. This is the reflector C1. The radiation was then made to fall on a rock salt or the fluorite or the fluorospar prism. You can see that this prism, after reflection, this light will come to the incident on this prism, and the prism was placed on the turntable of a spectrometer like ordinary light. the thermal radiation disperses into its component wavelength when passed through fluorospar prism. The dispersed radiation is brought to sensitive thermometer or the bolometer by a concave reflector. Here you can see that C2, and the bolometer converts this thermal energy into electrical energy. A sensitive galvanometer G, here you can see this sensitive galvanometer G is connected in series with the bolometer. The deflection of the galvanometer measures the intensity of radiation incident on the bolometer, and by slow rotation of the prism any narrow band of wavelength can be made incident on the bolometer. The wavelength is measured with the help of diffraction grating, and the intensity of radiation corresponding to different wavelength is measured. A number of observations are taken by heating the body to different temperature. The result of the experiment are plotted graphically as shown in this figure you can see here. So each curve represents the variation of monochromatic emittance E lambda with wavelength lambda for a certain temperature. The following conclusion may be drawn from the graph. The first one is, you can see that no curve enters the visible region. This is, you can see this violet color is there, the red color is there, the violet and red between this the spectrum, that is VIBGYOR. You can find no color you will find here in this graph. Okay, so you can see that no curve enters the visible region, and this is due to the fact that the radiation corresponding to wavelength of visible region is absorbed by the fluorospar prism. Second, you will see the distribution of energy among the different wavelength. Here in different wavelength the spectrum of black body radiation is not uniform. You can see the curve, these are not uniform. At a given temperature, the energy initially increases with wavelength. You can see in every curve you will find as the temperature increases, the energy initially increases with the wavelength becomes maximum and corresponding to a particular wavelength lambda m. This is, you can see this dotted line is representing here the maximum means wavelength. Okay, initially increase with the wavelength, this one the temperature with respect to the temperature you can see become maximum corresponding to particular wavelength lambda m. So and then it begins to decrease. After that you will see that this graph, this is decreasing exponentially, you can say. Okay, so here we'll find the second conclusion. Now you can see the wavelength here, one minute. The wavelength lambda m corresponding to which there is a maximum emission of energy at a given temperature is called the wavelength of maximum emission. Most of the energy is associated with the intermediate wavelength. The energy associated with short and long wavelength is small. Here we will see the energy associated with short wavelength. Here you can see in the temperature 1650 Kelvin, then 1450 Kelvin, here 1260 Kelvin, then 1000 Kelvin. So as the temperature increases you will find that E lambda is also, the value of E lambda is increases here. Okay, so for the you will see that here for the short wavelength means the wavelength, the energy associated with the short and long wavelength is small. Okay, now we'll see the wind displacement law in for this only, this graph only. With an increase in the temperature of the black body, the maxima of curve shift toward the shorter wavelength. In other word, the lambda m decreases with an increase in temperature. You can see that the lambda m, the value of this, the lambda is in this x-axis. You can find here this curve in this way. That means the curve is shifting this side. So as the temperature increases, the lambda m is for, means 1000 Kelvin is here, but lambda m for 1260 Kelvin is here, for the 1450 Kelvin is here, and for the 1650 Kelvin here. That means the lambda m shifting towards this side. That means the value of lambda m decreases with increase of the temperature. Okay, so the lambda m decreases with an increase in temperature. That means we can say simply here that according to the observation, it has been observed that the lambda m is directly proportional to 1 upon T, or you can say the inversely proportional to the temperature. So lambda m is equal to B 1 upon T here, and you will find the product of these two, the lambda m and T, is equal to B, where B is called the Wien's constant and its value in SI unit for a perfectly black body is 2.888 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter per Kelvin. Now the equation, this one is the mathematically statements of the Wien displacement law. In words, the product of the wavelength lambda m corresponding to the maximum radiant energy and the corresponding absolute temperature T is constant. That means this product of lambda m and T is constant, and this is called the Wien's displacement law. Now the fifth observation in this graph, we can see here the corresponding to each wavelength there is an increase in energy emission with an increase in temperature. So the area under each curve, you will see that in this graph only, the area under this curve, the area under each curve represent the total energy, that is the energy from 0 to lambda E lambda into D lambda at the temperature for which the curve is drawn. The area increases with an increase in temperature. You can see that the area under this curve is a very small, then as you go further for the higher temperature, the area under the curve will be will become large, even widen also. You can see that the width also increases here, height also increases and the width also increases. So that means the area increases here. So it has been observed that the area is directly proportional to the fourth power of the absolute temperature, and this is in accordance with the Stephens-Boltzmann greenhouse effect. We can see the sun and the stars clearly through the atmosphere because the atmosphere is transparent to visible radiation. However, most of the infrared radiation is absorbed by the atmosphere, so most of the infrared radiation cannot pass through the atmosphere. Now the energy from the sunlight obviously heats the earth, which, like any other hot body, stars emitting radiation. However, the earth is much cooler than the sun, so that according to Planck's law, its radiation is mostly in the infrared region. This is unlike the solar radiation. The radiation from the earth is unable to cross the lower atmosphere, which reflect its right back. Thus, the earth atmosphere is richer in infrared radiation, which is sometimes called heat radiation. This is because the most materials absorb this radiation quickly, heating themselves up in the process. The clouds that are low also prevent infrared radiation from the passing through. This helps to keep the earth's surface warm at night, and this phenomena is known as greenhouse effect. You can see the solar radiation when enter to the earth. So these are of a smaller wavelength, and but what happen when it is reflected back, this the layer of the carbon dioxide and other gases in the lower atmosphere, even the lower cloud also block the radiation. That means this infrared rays cannot escape from the earth, and so it produce heat here, and because of that the temperature of the earth maintained or regulated, you can say. You can see here in this figure the greenhouse effect. The surface of the earth absorbs solar radiation which passes through the atmosphere. In turn, the earth radiates infrared waves, and these waves are reflected back by the clouds and gases in the lower atmosphere. The component of solar and other extraterrestrial sources is in the ultraviolet and the lower wavelength domains are dangerous, and this is because they cause genetic damage to living cells. It is the ozone layer which blocks the passage of UV radiation, ultraviolet radiations, and protect us from the harmful portion of the solar radiation. Nearly all radiations of wavelength less than 3 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter is absorbed by the ozone layer. This effect is similar to the effect which is in the cold countries. You can see, for the just to providing the warmth to the plant, the glass, this type of glass enclosure would is used in this. The solar radiation can enter here, but the radiation which can be reflected back, that means the infrared radiation can which is reflected back, can be blocked by this glass surface and cannot escape out from here. And so that the this enclosure always means remain hot, or the warmth that is necessary for the plants to grow. So because of this, this is called the greenhouse effect.